Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're tackling something that, well, a lot of people find a bit tricky, getting confident with English.
It can feel overwhelming, can it? Like there are just endless rules, loads of words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our aim today is really to simplify that. We've got a set of steps here, quite clear ones actually.
Right. And the idea is if you stick with them, consistently, day by day.
Then actually becoming comfortable speaking, reading, writing, understanding English, it feels possible.
It becomes achievable, yeah. It's less about some kind of magic language talent and more about, practical steps.
Okay, so let's dive in. Step one seems to be start with the basics. What does basics really mean here? Where should you put your energy first?
Well, think of it like building anything, really. You need that foundation first, don't you?
Right.
So in English, that means simple grammar and the words we use most often, everyday stuff.
Okay, like what specifically?
A really good place to start is getting your head around the main tenses. Present, past, future, what's happening, what happened, what will happen.
And then using those.
Exactly. Building really simple sentences around them. Things like, I am happy, or she goes to school. Very straightforward structures.
So we're not talking about complex grammar rules right at the beginning. No obscure terms.
No, definitely not. The goal initially is to build a bit of confidence, get some quick wins.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and you can use simple grammar guides, or like you mentioned, there are great free resources. BBC Learning English is often recommended.
And the key tip seems to be focusing on one rule at a time.
Absolutely. Learn one thing. Practice that thing. Use it. Get comfortable with it. Then move on. Build it up piece by piece.
Right. Trying to swallow the whole dictionary or grammar book at once just doesn't work, does it?
Not really, no. It's usually too much, too fast.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Once you've got a little bit of that basic grammar starting to feel okay, what's next?
Vocabulary. You need words. Grammar gives you the structure, but words fill it in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. You need something to talk about.
Exactly. So the suggestion here is aiming for, say, 5 to 10 new words each day.
5 to 10. That sounds doable.
Right.
Not too scary.
Right. It adds up surprisingly quickly over weeks and months.
But how do you make them stick? Just reading a list isn't very effective, is it?
No, usually not. Things like flashcards can help, or apps. Quizlet is a popular one. Good for drilling.
Go.
But another really good technique is learning words in groups, like all words about food one day, or travel, or emotions. It helps connect them in your mind.
Thematic learning.
I see.
Yeah.
But the most important part, I think, is not just memorizing the definition. It's about using the word.
How so?
Try to make your own sentences with the new words. Don't just repeat the example from the dictionary. Think, how would I use this? That makes it active.
Active use, not just passive recognition.
Got it.
Okay. So we've got some grammar basics. We're building vocabulary. Step 3?
Improving your listening. This is really vital. How well you understand spoken English has a huge impact on everything else.
On speaking especially, I imagine.
Definitely. And just understanding conversations in general. You need to know what's being said to you before you can even think about replying.
So how do we train our ears? What's the practical advice?
Well, watching English movies and TV shows is a great and usually enjoyable way.
With subtitles.
Or without.
Start with subtitles in your own language, maybe? Just to follow the plot and link the sounds to meaning.
Okay.
Then maybe switch to English subtitles so you're seeing and hearing the English words together.
And eventually, no subtitle.
That's the goal, yeah. But take your time. Also, listening to podcasts in English, even short bursts, like on your commute. It all helps tune your ear. And try to pay attention to how native speakers talk, their rhythm, their pronunciation, maybe even try imitating them.
Mimicking the sounds. And I saw a tip about rewinding and repeating short clips.
Yes, that's really good. If you don't catch something, just rewind 30 seconds, listen again, maybe a few times. It really trains your ear for specific sounds or phrases. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So listening skills are improving. What's the next big hurdle? Often the scariest one.
Speaking, yes, this is often where people feel, most self-conscious.
Understandably.
But you just have to practice speaking regularly. There's no way around it if you want to become fluent and confident.
Right. So how do you get that practice, especially if you maybe don't live in an English-speaking country or don't know native speakers?
Well, one thing you can do, and it might feel weird at first, is just talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself.
Yeah. In English. Narrate what you're doing. Okay, now I'm making coffee. Or describe things you see. Talk about your day in your head, but out loud.
Okay. What else?
Language exchange apps are fantastic for this, like Tandem or HelloTalk. You find native English speakers learning your language and you help each other. Practice partners.
That sounds useful. Less pressure, maybe.
Exactly. And another tip, record yourself speaking.
Oh, I don't know if I'd like listening back.
Yeah, it can be a bit cringy at first, but it's incredibly helpful. You can hear your pronunciation, your rhythm, and compare it. Maybe use Google Translate's voice feature to hear how a word should sound, then try it yourself and listen back.
I can see how that would highlight things you don't normally notice.
Definitely. And the big message here really is don't worry about mistakes.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but they are absolutely 100% a normal part of learning. You make a mistake, you learn from it, you improve, it's progress, stumbling is fine.
Okay, permission to make mistakes granted. So, we're listening, we're speaking. What role does reading play?
Reading is super valuable. It helps reinforce grammar, but also it's fantastic for picking up new vocabulary naturally, seeing words used in context.
Right, you see how they fit into actual sentences.
Exactly.
So what kind of reading material should you start with? Probably not Shakespeare straight away.
Probably not. Start simple, short stories written for learners. Even children's books can be great. The language is usually clearer, simpler vocabulary. Then, as you feel more comfortable, you can move up. Maybe news articles on topics you like, blogs, websites like Simple English Wikipedia use easier language.
And reading aloud, is that helpful?
Yes, very helpful. It connects the visual word with the spoken sound, helps your fluency, your pronunciation, your rhythm, gets your mouth used to making the shapes.
And what about new words you find while reading?
Underscore them. Or make a note, look them up. Try to guess the meaning from the context first, maybe, but then check a dictionary. Build that vocabulary actively.
Good advice. Okay, reading, listening, speaking. We're missing one key skill. Writing. How does that fit in?
Writing is another way to really nail down what you're learning, especially grammar and vocab. You have to consciously think about sentence structure, word choice.
It forces you to be more precise, maybe.
I think so, yeah. You can't just fudge it like sometimes happens when you speak quickly.
So what kind of writing practice is good?
Keeping a daily journal in English is a fantastic habit. Doesn't have to be long. Just a few sentences about your day, your thoughts.
Low pressure, just for yourself.
Exactly. Or, make an effort to write emails or messages in English if you can, maybe social media posts. Any practice helps.
And getting feedback.
Oh, definitely. If you have someone who can look at your writing, like a tutor or language partner, that's ideal. But even using grammar checkers, like Grammarly, can catch errors and help you learn.
Right.
And a really neat trick is to go back to old journal entries after a few weeks or months and try rewriting them. Use the new words and grammar you've learned since then.
Well, that's clever. You can actually see your progress.
Exactly. It's very motivating.
Okay, so we're building these skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing. How do we kind of bring it all together in the real world? Step 7 talks about real-life situations.
Yeah, this is about taking English off the page or out of the app and using it in everyday life, applying it.
What are some ways to do that?
Well, small things can make a difference. Change your phone language to English, your social media settings, immerse yourself in it.
So you're just seeing English all the time.
Right. And if you have the chance, like when shopping or traveling, try to use English. Even simple interactions, ordering coffee, asking for directions.
Push yourself out of your comfort zone a bit.
Exactly. And maybe the biggest shift here, try to think in English.
Think directly in English, not translate from your native language.
Yes. It's a big goal, takes time, but it's incredibly powerful for fluency. Translating in your head slows you down.
How do you even start doing that?
Start small. Try narrating simple actions in your head in English. I need to buy milk. Plan your next hour in English. Describe the room you're in, just to yourself. Gradually, you train your brain to bypass the translation step.
That sounds challenging, but I can see how it would make speaking feel more natural eventually.
It really does. It's a game changer for fluency.
Okay, we've covered a lot of specific skills and techniques. What's the thread that ties this all together? Step 8 seems crucial. Practice every day.
Yes. If there's one takeaway message, it's probably this. Consistency is key. Absolutely vital.
So it's better to do a little bit every day than, say, one massive session on the weekend.
Much, much better. Create a routine, even just 30 minutes a day, or maybe an hour if you can manage it, but make it daily.
And mix things up within that time.
Yeah, good idea. Don't just do grammar drills every day. Maybe Monday is listening, Tuesday speaking practice, Wednesday vocab, Thursday reading, Friday writing. Mix and match. Keep it interesting.
And maybe use weekends for review.
Perfect. Consolidate what you learned during the week. Short, regular practice sticks much better than cramming. You retain more.
That's really encouraging, actually. It feels less daunting if it's just small daily steps.
Exactly. Build the habit.
And finally, there's a bonus mention of using good tools. We've touched on some already.
Yeah, there are so many helpful resources now. Apps like Duolingo, BBC Learning English for lessons, Grammarly for writing help. They can structure your learning.
And websites?
Things like Simple Wikipedia or VOA Learning English are great for reading practice with slightly easier language.
And YouTube. Loads of channels there, right?
Oh, countless. Channels like Speak English with Mr. Steve or English Class 101. Lots of free lessons, tips, pronunciation guides. Find ones you like.
So the tools are definitely out there to support you.
Absolutely. No shortage of help available.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, the main message seems to be less about aiming for instant perfection.
Right. Perfection isn't the goal, especially at first.
And more about just starting, being consistent, and maybe even trying to enjoy the journey.
Exactly that. Start small, do a little bit each day, be patient with yourself. You'll see progress probably sooner than you think. Maybe in a few months you'll look back and be surprised.
Every step forward counts.
It really does. Practice makes progress, not necessarily perfection right away.
Well, this has been really insightful. It breaks down what feels like a huge task into something much more manageable. Thanks for walking us through it.
My pleasure. Hopefully it helps people feel more confident about starting or continuing their English learning journey.
And remember that key idea. Consistent effort is what really moves the needle.